What it is? How's it going, everybody? Today we're going to be doing our Halloween special, this time with a full review of the Halloween classic Monster House. We're going to be talking about all the things with spooks, ghouls, candy, creatures, overweight women. Talk about all the things. So sit back, relax, grab a snack, grab a beverage, possibly some candy, but not candy corn though. Everybody know that that's trash.
Screw you.
And dive on in
Blasphemous.
to listen to some First Ones to Die.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the First Ones to Die podcast. It is a very special occasion right now because it is Halloween. That's right. One of the best times of the year. We are at it again with our second annual Halloween episode. How are you guys feeling?
I'm doing good.
Doing good.
Yeah.
This is the second time now. I have a costume with shades on so you can't see my eyes. Like for Halloween. Because last year I also had shades on.
Yeah, I had a horrible fake mustache too that kept falling off.
This is true. This year the fake mustache did not make its return because I have a full beard and mustache. So I felt like it was quite unnecessary. My undercover case is over, but as you can see, now I'm on to a new mission. So
And if you're just listening to the audio version, all three of us are currently dressed up in our Halloween attire. So if you want to check it out, I would recommend you check out the YouTube and go see us there. Last year we did kind of a reveal, but this year we're gonna do it a little bit differently. We're gonna try to guess each other's costumes. Who do we want to guess first?
You guys can guess what I am.
I mean, are you Little Red Riding Hood? Is that what you are?
No, she's Cinderella.
Blue.
Right, that's a different color entirely.
The sarcasm. Y'all lost the sarcasm this Halloween.
Yes, I did. Yes, I'm Little Red Riding Hood, but I'm Little Red Riding Hood with a plan.
Wow. Okay.
That's the.
I'm Little Red Riding Hood with a plan. I also got a picnic basket.
Also, why did you bring a machete instead of a gun? I mean, that feels like that would be
It's the
more
wood.
effective.
I'm sorry. How are you going to skin it? I actually should not go into detail about how
No,
to.
if
If I gotta get a squirrel or something or a rabbit to eat, how's a gun gonna help me that much?
Shoot them.
No, because if she brought a gun, she would have to change her name to Little Red Riding from the Hood.
I love Chicago. I love
No,
that area
she'd
behind.
be Little Red Riding. I wish a motherfucker would.
I'm just Little Red Riding Hood with a plan, all right? And this is more efficient than a gun when you're in the fucking woods.
It's a straight path, a fresh path, too. It's not like she was lost in the woods. She was on a direct route to Grandma's house.
Like what? I know like the different versions and Red Riding Hood.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the full
story.
main story. I don't know really how. I know the wolf like eats the grandma,
Mm-hmm.
and
then the
pretends
woodsman
to be grandma.
comes, cuts the wolf open, and fills his belly with stones.
Where does the woodsman come from?
He's just, I don't know.
That's
He's in
a
the
whole
woods.
other thing. This man, are we sure this man's just not breaking into people's houses and then murdering little old ladies?
Now you're getting into the movie Hoodwinked, in which have you seen that movie?
That's an animated movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have not.
No.
It's a play on Little Red Riding Hood, where like it plays out Red Riding Hood at first, and then you find out it's like a cop case where they're investigating, and
I've
the
heard of
first
it,
question they
yeah.
ask the woodsman is like, "So what were you doing here? Huh? You just breaking into people's houses? Huh? What were you doing in the area, sir?"
See,
With your
that's the whole
axe?"
thing. I was like, what are you doing? That's why I can get some wood. I can like, yeah, you can do a lot more with this. But I'm Red Riding Hood with a plan.
Nice.
What about you, Jonathan? Let's try to guess you. Although,
Okay, Alex said she was 95% sure, but I want to see before she guesses. I want to see Jerome if you know who I am.
Oh no.
Just straight up no.
I mean, yeah. Are you Are you Jonathan going to a job interview? Is that?
We've seen Jonathan going to a job interview. I interviewed with Jonathan.
Uh-huh.
I think you are. Hold on, I want to be Gregory Eddy from the Abbott Elementary School.
Alex,
Yeah.
you would be correct. And this is my wonderful teacher's assistant.
Oh, he's got a
he's got
tie.
a tie.
Gibson, for the audio listeners, Gibson is wearing a tie.
He
Currently.
looks so in Little Silver. He looks so handsome. I would trust him.
And I'll show a picture of the character for those who are watching the YouTube and for Jerome's reference as well. Let me share my screen.
Yeah, oh no, I know who that character is. I just didn't know that's who you were dressed as. Because I've never seen that show.
It's a great show. I recommend it to everyone.
You
Played by
the same color shirt as him.
Right? I didn't have a great time, so I did what I could.
But like, I was like, you kind of look like a teacher, and then I was like, oh, I know who you're gonna be, because you also like Abbott Elementary like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
I even was thinking like, because I was supposed to go to a costume party last week, with the WB people, who would be there. It was hosted by someone who was at WB. And obviously Abbott Elementary is
that where you were, as opposed to our Black Adam review? Were you out here trying to hang out with The Rock? For real,
No.
for real? And just be like, congratulations on the movie.
No, it was at somebody's house. It wasn't at like Warner Brothers. And I didn't end up going anyways because I had rehearsal. But I wanted to like have the facial hair and everything right as well at the same length approximately. So that's what
It's the little details that matter.
Exactly. That's what you got to think about.
All right.
All right.
You're not gonna guess mine. No.
Is it from a comic?
No.
Is it from a movie?
No.
Is it from a TV show?
No.
Is it from a food?
No.
Are you?
What am I, the Red Baron popcorn?
Yeah, the Red Baron
I'm
popcorn.
selling popcorn right now.
I thought that. I was like, are you Red Baron? Are you a spokesman?
No.
So you're not from any media.
Are you from a media like at all?
Yes, technically.
That's bullshit.
A video game.
No.
A play, a theater show.
No, you were missing one very obvious form of media.
Comic book?
You said comic.
Oh, no video game. YouTube?
No. Do you want me to just tell you already?
No.
We want what media source are you from?
Music. Nobody said I'm a musician.
Are you from a rap?
No.
Category. EDM.
Yes. But it's probably someone you do not know.
Does their name start with an S?
No.
A W?
No.
I just love going. You're doing this. You're going down such a list.
A D?
No.
What letter does it begin with?
It begins with F.
Is he from America?
No.
Is he from Europe?
No.
Is he from Latin America?
No.
He's from Asia.
No.
Didn't I name all the continents? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, except for the one that everybody forgets.
Canada? No.
No. So this is Hugo Gruzman from Flight Facilities, which is an EDM group from Australia.
Oh.
And this is like their costume they wear when they DJ sometimes, because they're called Flight Facilities. And so he's got his like aviator cap with the white shirt and blue tie. So yeah.
I feel like it would have been better if you guys had just been Maverick.
That's what I immediately thought when
Right,
I saw him
man.
on the screen.
Also, it is very hot right now. All right, I'm gonna take this Sherpa line jacket off though, because it is hot as hell.
I know. I almost
Wearing
want to
this,
listen to
all
this
this,
tie,
See,
but
all
it's
this
I'm
cold,
gear
so
on,
I'm
with
super
the
happy
tie
for
on.
this.
committed.
Uh,
Look at this group.
you know what? Actually, I will open the window. There.
All right, while you're opening the
All right.
window, I also do want to mention that tomorrow, November 1st, is Dia de los Muertos, is the Day of the Dead for some Mexican and other cultures, and it's a day of remembering the ones who have passed and the ones who have influenced your life. Last year I was dressed more so that with the styling of the sugar skulls and everything like that, and just remember the next couple days, appreciate your family and remember those who've had an influence in your life.
True that.
So word. All right. Well, we had been talking about this movie for a minute. I think we wanted to do it last year, but we didn't end up having time or whatever. But there's a movie that all of you may be familiar with. Came out in the year 2006. It's called Monster House. It's an animated film. Plotline: three teens discover that their neighbor's house is really a living, breathing, scary monster. Some of the stars of the film, we have a very 2000s lineup here. We have Mitchell Musso, Sam Lerner, Spencer Locke, Steve Buscemi, Catherine O'Hara, Fred Willard, Maggie Gyllenhaal, Jason Lee, Kevin James, Nick Cannon, John Heder, Kathleen Turner, and many, many more. We reviewed this movie. I believe, Jerome, you and I have both seen it, but Alex, this is your first time watching it. What did you think of Monster House?
Just like it was a cute movie, but it wasn't like my favorite. I'm trying to like think of a way to like say everything. It was a little stupid. Chowder annoyed me a bit. Like I get he's supposed to be that like friend, but also he was just like annoying. He's like, why are you chasing that ball so much? You literally can't even play with it properly. But like you're risking your literal life and the rest of your friend's life to get the stupid ball back. The main character, what was his name?
DJ.
DJ. Which was played by or voiced by Mitchell Musso. Which when I read the credits, I was like laughing for some reason. I was like, Mitchell Musso, man. Wonder what he's doing. I don't think he's doing anything good right now, right?
I mean, if anything at all,
anything
he's
at all.
probably just living life. You know, he had his time. Remember when he tried to be a music star?
Rapping.
Oh
yeah.
I could see how that didn't work out well for him. But all around it was a cute movie. There's just little scenes in here that I thought were when they first meet the girl Jenny, and they were basically trying to call dibs on her when she went to go call her mom. She's like, "So you hate Mexican food?" I was like, "That's a little rude to say it like that," but I get what was the context and everything. But like, still a little rude to be like, "You hate Mexican food? Oh, you hate Mexican food?" I was like, also, why is there pee in their bottles?
Because they were on a
Because
stakeout.
they peed in the bottles because they didn't leave the room.
Why couldn't
they had to use? They still had to use the bathroom.
Why couldn't one just leave the room while the other one stayed?
Because they're children and they didn't think that far ahead.
No, and they said they thought pee in the bottles. That was gross. Children are gross. I did like the cop. The guy who played the black cop was hilarious.
Nick Cannon.
Oh, that was Nick Cannon?
It was.
Officer Lister. That was like my favorite character out of the whole movie, honestly.
I love what he calls him 2%.
Right? He's like getting there 2%. I was like, did you just call him milk?
I was like, that is the funniest thing. I feel like that was ad-lib. There's no way, though, because I'm sure this movie is written by white people. There's no way they would think to call it 2%.
No.
Indeed, it was written by Dan Harmon and Rob Schrab.
Really? I didn't know Dan Harmon wrote this. Cool.
And Steven Spielberg produced it.
Yeah, that's
with
when
Robert
I saw
Zemeckis.
the Amblin logo, I was like, oh, I didn't know Steven Spielberg, his company produced this movie.
It's so
Yeah, I
funny when
knew
you see
Robert
somebody's
Zemeckis had
names
his hand
on.
in it, but I didn't realize that Steven Spielberg did as well.
It's so funny when I find stuff filmed by or like involving with Steven Spielberg because I was like, this isn't your type of movie, but okay. And it's
Yeah.
just like he has his like hands and everything.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's made a lot of money and it did pretty well. I remember watching this movie. I was telling my girlfriend, I was like, I watched this movie in theaters.
same.
And it was creepy. That first scene with Nevercracker, I remember watching that in theaters and being like terrified. He was more terrifying than the house because the way they do his intro, where you just all you see is his eyes and his nose in the darkness,
Mhm.
and then he comes. I was like, oh my god!
I
I
did
was always
like
go ahead.
that, or like I could see why the Neville
Mhm.
Cracker was the most scariest because it's like this man's just charging at you from out of nowhere. Of course, it's terrifying.
Well, also he's all gangly and linky, but then he is like the animation style is like everybody has these big heads on these like
Also, that house has
tiny
been there for
bodies.
45 years. People know stories. Toys go to. Why have you not trained your children to stay the fuck off that lawn? After that
Here's a
point, I
better
don't feel bad
question: why wouldn't you have a fence? like like a
because
chain link fence to keep any kid from being on the lawn. The only way for them to get on the lawn is that they would have to climb the fence.
well, clearly the house did not want a fence.
The house would have been satisfied with anything he did because she just wanted him. I feel like if he had built a fence, it would have just been like, okay.
I don't know. She kind of seemed demanding.
Um, the scariest character for me was always the boyfriend, Skull.
Bones.
Oh, Bones.
Bones. Who? Wait. Oh, Skull was the video game guy.
Yeah.
Uh, Bones. It was something about his teeth. Like his teeth when he smiled were always really scary for whatever reason.
Played by Jason Lee.
I could see
Yeah.
his character kind of reminded me of that person that like you think something's funny and you go really too far with it, and that's how somebody ends up like dead. You're like, it's just a joke, and then they're like, oh, there's a dead body, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Uh,
Yeah.
Also, apparently Brittany Corinne also did some voice work for Jenny too, but she's just not credited.
Yeah, it's interesting because so I know that so this movie was shot with with motion capture. So like they have the actors in the suits and they're like doing the motions, similar to Polar Express. Uh, so I know in those types of movies, sometimes there'll be a discrepancy between the voice and the person who's doing the motions. Sometimes it's the same person, but sometimes it'll be different people for certain parts or whatever.
Yeah, if they change out they do the motions before they do the voice or vice versa.
Mm.
I don't know how they're doing it. Probably a little
Looking
bit
at
of both.
looking at the cast list too, it's interesting they got Kathleen Turner to do Constance because Constance only has like I think all of like 3 or 4 lines in this film.
It's true. That's the mom, right?
No, that's
That's the
the
house.
that's the wife. That's
Oh,
the
yeah,
that
that's
became the
right.
house. So I'm
Well,
like,
she played a
yeah.
pivotal role in it. Maybe that's why.
I mean, maybe. I mean, I'm just saying, like Kathleen Turner is a big get for that for such a tiny role. I mean, she does a great job though. Her
Yeah.
voice is very unique.
She
So
she
she does a great job.
she has a way of playing a vengeful wife as as you may
As
know
Serial
from our
Mom
Serial Mom
proves.
review.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. Oh, looks like Mitchell
Metamucil.
Metamucil. He did some show called Save the Island, King Brady. Oh, it's a short.
Yeah.
'Cause I was
Well,
like, is he actually
the
doing
thing he's
anything?
been probably doing for years that's been keeping him employed is Phineas and Ferb.
Ferb.
Like,
Yeah, because
Oh,
his most recent credit was Phineas and Ferb, the movie Candace Against the Universe in 2020.
that show's still going on?
not
No,
It
anymore.
ended, right?
I
That
think
the
they
movie
brought it
was
back
the
for the movie.
ending.
Yeah,
The
Oh.
movie was the end of that show.
because it was like Phineas and Ferb ended in 2015, and then the movie came out in 2020.
Does that play he's immortal? Also, I agree with Candace. That poor girl dealing with all her brother's bullshit.
First of all, that show proved that snitching will only get you nothing in return and a lifetime of heartache. All right, because I'm sure Candace had a hard time thanks to them constantly just
Oh, speaking of
look
Candace,
crazy.
speaking of Candace, in his Wikipedia it says in 2018, Musso appeared at Turning Point USA's Young Women's Leadership Summit with Sarah Palin and Candace Owens.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And now Candace Owens is friends with Kanye West. What a world.
You ever just like sit down and just stare and be like, I'm so tired. Like, I don't want to open any social media apps. I don't want to look at anything. We're in a weird timeline. But back to Monster House, their timeline was odd. So, okay, so the wife, Constance, was in the freak show. She was one of the bigger ladies. And he didn't kidnap her, I guess. But he did technically take her.
I mean, more or less did take her from the circus. But I mean, she wanted to go anyway, so.
That's true. And then he was building her a house, which, by the way, the structure of the house, the way he built it, that was an accident waiting to happen. Who builds a floor, stairs, and another floor when you haven't even completed the basement fully? He didn't even set the foundation of the concrete.
He didn't finish the first floor.
Right. So it's like, I'm sorry, you're surprised this is all what happened? No.
I mean, it was structurally stable because she was up there.
He hadn't even set the
fine.
basement yet. Like, how is that even possible? He didn't even set the basement yet. They had this weird like interior look. Also, I feel like the layout of that house did not match what was shown outside because it's a very like lengthwise house, longer, but it seemed more up. Like it looked like it was higher up and more narrow when they showed the inside a little bit.
I'm sorry. Are you trying to use logic on a house that is literally possessed with the soul of the fat woman that died in the basement?
I'm just saying, let me see the layout properly and don't try to fuck with it.
I did feel bad for Nevercracker, though. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm forgetting all of these people's names.
Good old D Nevercracker.
Mm-hmm. But, because at the beginning, because it's been easily over 10, 12 years since I've seen this movie.
Yeah.
And I didn't remember that he wasn't dead. I thought.
Oh no, I remembered because I was like, I'm glad because I'm like, yeah, what? I need answers. How the hell is this house alive? What is the deal?
So I did feel bad for him when he eventually, came back from the hospital, and he explained his story and everything, and it was touching for me. And it really put into perspective, why the house was mad. Yeah, and he was just protective of his wife's legacy. And after having a tragic event like that happen, I don't blame him for being upset that he just don't want these kids, these baby kids, on his lawn.
My thing is, I'm like, why are they egging the house? It's not like normally you egg the house if like you go there and they don't have candy. They didn't even get that far. They just from the lawn were just like, ooh, a house, eggs.
No, they were throwing the eggs at her. That's why she was.
No. I mean, after she died and the house was just normal.
Oh, well, they thought he was like a creeper or whatever. You've never had that house on that street that you just don't go to, but people are like, oh, I can go up to her and do that bullshit. I remember we had a house like that when I lived in Chicago. And there was this courthouse. It was just a creepy looking fucking house. I didn't really hear any stories or anything. It just looked creepy. And I'm like, but people would be like, oh, you go run in there and go play and throw shit at it. Because things are abandoned. And for some reason, kids like to throw things at abandoned things.
Mm-hmm. But man, it was, I gotta admit, like the animation in this is still pretty solid for me. Like it's still pretty good. And especially the monster house itself is so. I remember watching it the first time. I was like, it's so meticulously built and looks interesting, especially because it's like when the house is not monster mode, you can still see where like the cracks would be where the nose is, and like how the teeth, the like wood planks that would become her teeth, like where the splits are. And I'm like, that attention to detail is really good and really sharp. And the movie just in general has such creative ideas of like how, like, no, like, because it would be so easy for this to be like, this is the monster house, and from the outside it looks like a monster, but then we go inside and we get to see how this house looks, and it's like, it's so meticulous, from the basement with like the thousands of pipes in the ceiling to like how its stomach and uvula works and everything. I'm like, man, this is really cool.
It was
Yeah.
actually structured that way too, because when she grabbed the uvula, it made it puke.
Uh
I was like,
huh.
oh, this is like an actual like mouth, basically.
Right. I really like the scene where you see the house coming together after its monstrous rage. You see all of the like planks and everything just come together. Like that attention to detail that you were talking about, I really enjoyed. It says on here that that um, the Polar Express, which was another Robert Zemeckis film, that was like released right before this, like a couple years before this.
Mm.
Um, he they released it in 3D, like a 3D version specifically for IMAX. And this film they released in real D cinema. You remember that real 3D where you had the real 3D glasses?
No.
Yeah, I remember that.
Uh-huh. So they released that here. But I feel like, I don't know, because I watched it on Amazon through like Freevee or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it had commercials. But I don't know if they like enhanced it or whatever for streaming, but the quality of it was like pretty great for a movie released in 2006, which, relatively speaking isn't that long ago, but for the technology at the time it was pretty new. And that's what I remember most about watching this movie, is just the animation. Like what I remember watching it growing up, I remember the animation of it, and that played into the creepiness factor too. Because once DJ has that nightmare, and then all of a sudden it's like it's dawn, like it's dawn. It's not quite dark yet, but it's not like afternoon. It's like that in
Mm.
between space, and there's a lot of like blue hues, and it's like kind of, yeah. It's just it's not completely dark, but it's also not completely light. That's probably what I remembered most about the tone of this movie. That played into like the creepiness factor, that it wasn't completely dark yet.
I will say, yeah, no, I think there was enhanced because the opening sequence in general, the colors, the fall colors when they take you through all the leaves, the oranges, it's beautiful. It is really beautiful. They have
And that
quite a
tracking
vast
shot
coloring,
of
yeah.
the little girl is so fluid and smooth.
Yeah, I think it was. I feel like it had to have been enhanced for a movie that's not like 16. Not that they probably didn't do such. They did like they. I think they did a great job, and I think this movie was very fluid and everything. But it was probably enhanced a little bit, at least for the colors, because the colors were very vibrant, very beautiful. And I think a lot of people, when people think of like fall or Halloween, it's mainly like oranges and reds, but they use the vast majority, like the purple you were mentioning and the kind of the blueness for the sky, played a big part into that, where it did lead to like a different, almost like a sense of warping of time, because you got all these other colors that you don't expect to see in a season like this. Um, I really, yeah, I will agree that I think it was enhanced, but the colors were just gorgeous for this movie. This movie didn't really creep me out. There are like
Yeah, I
points where
think
I was like,
it's only, I would say it's really creepy when, if you're like a kid. I think once the older you are, the more you're just like, it's normal. But it's still a cute movie. Like, it's still
yes.
fun. You still like are following along. Um, it's just a great like kids, like this is the movie like when I was a kid I would watch on Halloween, because I'm like, this is a
Mhm.
great like kids Halloween movie. It's right up there for me with like Nightmare Before Christmas as like a Halloween just classic that kids can watch, and but it won't annoy the adults into submission because it's like, because that is in my mind is despite how much I do like that movie, is a Scary Godmother, where I'm like, kids like this. if you didn't grow up watching this and you're an adult, you would hate it
I
with
mean,
passion.
I grew up watching like horror films as a child, so I didn't really watch like the kid style horror films. A lot of times, one thing that did annoy me, just really like now backtrack. One thing that did annoy me when they first meet Jenny and they're trying to like kind of fight over her. They stand so close to that girl's face, like the first few minutes where she's like, I'm gonna call my mom. They're like this close. I was like, you guys need to back it up a little bit.
Listen, you don't
I'm
know what
like,
it is to be a 13-year-old boy, and the first girl
I remember
you see is
13-year-old
cute,
boys.
just comes up,
They should
and you're
not
just
stand
like,
close to anybody.
man,
That
this girl is
that
cute.
puberty's hitting it. That puberty's
Yeah,
That
coming
puberty was
through.
strong.
Uh,
That's the smells. Trust me, they should not, nor do they should they want to stand too close to anybody during that
I
time.
just Chowder he was annoying though, for real.
he was
But he's
funny though.
supposed to be.
He
He's
was
supposed to be the annoying friend.
he was funny though. He had some good one-liners. One was he was like DJ was like, "Where are your parents?" And Chowder's like, "My dad's at the pharmacy and my mom's at the movies with her personal trainer."
Oh, the other when they were getting loaded into the car, he's like, "My uncle's a cop. Well, he lives in Cincinnati and he owns a gun." It's like Chowder. He did have a lot of those one-liners.
Uh-huh.
I mean, he did the most damage on the Monster House. I'll give him that. He was the MVP near the end. You know, he was helping out a lot. Although DJ and Jenny are brave kids, because when they were like, "Let's go across this crane," and I'm like, I as an adult would not do that. I would just be like, "Look, the house is gonna have to eat some people. That's all right. You know, sometimes you're gonna lose a few." Just like I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. It's probably just adrenaline. And you're like, yeah, this seems like a great idea. It's not.
And then
But
he's
like,
he's on the wrecking ball, swinging like Spider-Man. I mean, with extreme precision too. These kids became like superheroes because Jenny threw like Tom Brady, lacing the dynamite to DJ in the sky. And then DJ caught it with precision and then threw it in the house, no problem. And on the backswing back, caught Chowder and everything. And I was like, who are you? Who are these
they're
children?
kids with a plan. Also, I kept getting cheddar a couple times when I was thinking watching. I'm like cheddar. I was like, oh no, wait, you're not cheddar. You're chowder.
Also,
No, I
who
thought that
names
was
their son Chowder?
I thought that was a nickname.
I think it's a nickname.
No,
No,
that's his name.
No, it says in the Wikipedia article at least. It says his name is Charles in parentheses Chowder.
Oh no, that's right. He does call himself Charles. He does say
quotation.
Charles.
I love when people who name their children Charles always have a weird ass nickname to go with it. I've never just met somebody. My name is
most
Charles,
of the time
and
it's
I
just
call you Charles.
Charlie.
No, there has been like where I've met people where they're like, it's a weird ass nickname. What is your real Charles? It's like, how'd you get there? Or they'll go by their middle name or the something. Charles is one of those names that I have never really met a person who uses the name Charles.
It's normally either Charlie or Chuck.
I hate Chuck.
Those are like the common nicknames for Charles.
Chuck is a terrible name, and I refuse to call any adult that.
Would you prefer Chucky?
Chucky's a psychotic doll. I just wanted those dolls.
Yeah, and his name is Charles Lee Ray.
No, what I was gonna say is that like, so I always like live with my sister. She never wanted me to get one of those Chucky dolls, the good guy dolls, because she's like, it's creepy and it's fucking weird. But I live alone now and I have my own income and I'm gonna get one. I'm gonna have a.
Is it in preparation for the TV show? Because season 2 is like going on right now.
No, I've always just wanted the Chucky doll. I thought it'd be fun to have, with the little scarred up face and his little knife.
Oh, yeah. I was about to say, do you want classic Chucky or scarred Chucky?
I don't know who's creepier at times. Sometimes the toy that's not all damaged is creepy. Me and Lauren went to the oddities and curiosity shows on Saturday. Not as odd and not as curious as I thought it was going to be. Got to see some creepy things, but it wasn't as creepy as I thought it would be. I was a little disappointed, but I got some good artwork and things. I did see some taxidermy stuff, which was interesting. And I was like, some of the taxidermy stuff was really creepy because it's like, oh, you shaped it into this like weird face to make it creepier. But then there were some just normal taxidermy stuff where I'm like, you're still creepy. You look exactly like what you're supposed to look like, but it's creepy. So it just made me think about that with the dolls and like toys. When a toy is creepy, it can be creepy on its own, but then it's also like damaged or warped, and it makes you creepier. But which is creepier? This movie, I don't know which was creepier, the warped house or the regular house. Bringing it back.
Yeah, this is I love that second transformation too. After the house gets destroyed by the wrecker at first, and then transforms. I was like, "You're not even a house anymore. Now you're just like now you're just a straight up monster. Just boards.
Drop the house, keep the monster.
Mm-hmm.
I really did like going back to like Nevercracker's whole arc and story. I feel like I could relate to him in a way because, you know, sometimes you have possessions, even if the house wasn't a monster and he was just an old man who didn't want people on his lawn because his wife died in the house and he built the house in memory of his wife. I could really like empathize with that because I have possessions too that are like sentimental to me. And if anybody even messed with them or looked at them funny, I'd be getting in my feelings too. So I could feel and empathize with him in his story and him wanting to continue his wife's legacy. And I was surprised at the end when the house got destroyed and he's like, oh, this is a good thing. But
Jonathan, I feel like this is your pitch to be in a Butterfingers commercial. Like,
why?
My name's Jonathan, and I'll be damned if anyone's going to lay a finger on my Butterfinger. All right, this is my possession, and I don't want anybody to touch it.
I don't know whoever called a Butterfinger a possession. I know what you mean. I thought it was cute though when Chowder at the end did say like, "Oh, maybe he'll go on vacation and meet a nice beach house."
That was funny too.
It was funny. I was like, "All right, okay, Chowder, that was funny."
I mean, but it's true because he's like, I'm gonna be alone. I'm like, it's 2006, baby. Just so you know, Tinder's coming soon. You'll be all right.
Oh no!
Also, Alex is frozen. So, oh no.
Technically, I'm not.
It's
frozen,
the spirit.
You guys are.
And me, so that we lost it completely. All right, there we go. Alex.
Technically, when this comes out, you guys will be frozen. I won't. I'm recording it.
Dang, I should have taken a picture of it because you were frozen like this.
This is why the audio version is the superior version, because you'll get to hear everybody's side of that because it was recording the entire time.
Technically still have your guys' audio. You're frozen. I'm not. So really it's your voices going like, oh no, Alex.
All the Metal Gear fans know what that sound is. Anyway,
only the Metal Gear fans know what that is.
Also, I gotta give a shout out. Maggie Gyllenhaal is great as Z in this movie. She's very funny.
She was, although I hated her at
yeah, but you're supposed to,
right?
But when she's like, when he's just like, Bones got eaten alive, and I forget the name she says, but when she's just like it basically is the equivalent of that bitch. I gotta go. It's like that she just leaves. And I was like, oh my god, that's so funny.
She's like done with her shit. That was kind of allowed to be said. I like the one thing I do like about like animations like this, like kids animations like this, the way they put in shit to hide it from like kids, but the adults know. Like what's the equivalent of you bitch? It's just like, I know what you're saying. And it makes it seem funnier, but I wonder if kids are just like, oh, well, that was weird. I wonder, I was watching it as a child and like how it flies over your head. Is it still funny the way she says it? Or is it like, just like, that was weird, her comment?
Also, he's telling this, like, Bones is telling this story about like how like Nevercracker like ate his wife or whatever, or killed his wife or whatever. He's telling the story, and he's getting in close, and then she's like coming in for a kiss, and I'm like, what about this story is doing it for you? All right, the man's talking about an old man who possibly is crazy, talking to his house and possibly is a murderer.
She loves Halloween. Ghost stories get her going.
Hey, and fear and adrenaline, mix all with that. That does heighten some stuff.
This is how
everybody don't keep
going to end up. This is how you end up with those women that are like, I didn't know my husband was a serial killer. I mean, I didn't see it coming at all. Like the signs are right there.
What sign? You told me creepy stories.
Yes. That was red flag number one. All his stories are about murderers.
Then Netflix is a red flag. Because most of their shows are about murderers and stuff.
No, they got Blockbuster coming out soon. All right, that helps balance it out.
I am so upset that that's going to be a show, but I absolutely want to try to watch it. The fuck?
It does for me. I'm like, why is this a show? Clearly, you have like missed the cultural relevance by like a lot of years. Only people who know Blockbuster existed or what it is people our age in our like 30s, and we have like or getting close to our 30s, and we have other shows to watch.
Because it's not necessarily for us. It's just a retro show. Blockbuster is retro now, so it's like this is for the younger generation.
Not
like,
that
oh God,
retro.
Like?
People don't be talking about Blockbuster like that.
Some people do.
I feel like Blockbuster you can safely call retro at this point.
I also like that it's Netflix doing it. It's kind of like a slap you to the face. Be
That
like, we
true,
put you
though.
out of business, and now you know what? We're making a comedy show about you. 30 years later, we have a comedy show about you.
I don't think it's a slap in the face. I think it's very much a handout of just like Netflix, please come on, baby, make the show. We'll do anything.
Blockbuster
just keep our name alive.
Blockbuster easily could have been Netflix if they had just expanded the brand.
They tried to be
too online. Late. Yeah.
Because remember that after Netflix came out, then Blockbuster started doing the same service where they're like, oh snap, they're mailing DVD. We can do that too. We can mail you DVDs. Come on, baby. What DVDs you need? Just tell us.
Well, it's not Netflix's fault that they thought of a good idea earlier.
Because a lot of people forget that's how Netflix started. Their business model was order rent movies online, and we will mail you a DVD to watch, and then you just mail it back. And then eventually they realize, this streaming's a new thing. Let's do that.
I only got Netflix when they did the streaming and the DVDs. I never had Netflix before that. The moment the streaming became available, I was like, oh, this is great. These movies aren't great, but like it's better than going to Blockbuster.
Well, exactly. What's the weird thing? The weird thing is that Netflix, the name, it's more applicable to the brand as it is now than it was back then. Because when you were sending the DVDs, it wasn't over the internet. It was just
the idea was that you could order them on the internet. Like you weren't going to a store like you did with Blockbuster.
But now you're actually watching them on the internet. Mm-hmm. And also back then, like Netflix, they didn't really have new things. It was just they didn't have their own original stuff until like House of Cards.
See, but that's what kept them in business, is that they kept evolving. Eventually it was like, okay, we've gone from doing the mailing the DVDs, let's do some streaming. Then it became, you know what, we have enough money, screw it, let's make our own shows. Why do we need to wait for other people to make content? We can make our own content. And so they started making their shows. Meanwhile, Blockbuster, I mean, I don't know. We'll suck your dick or something. I don't know. We'll do whatever it takes. Just come on in.
Monster House review.
Yeah,
there could be children.
There are no kids watching this.
Well, not after we put the adult filter on. No.
You know, somebody at Blockbuster was saying it. All right, they're just like, we need anything to stay in business.
Anyway, so Monster House.
The Monster House, anyway. Monster House was still around when Blockbuster was still alive, mind you. So it's still relevant.
You can actually stream Monster House on Freevee, which is attached to Amazon Prime. I think Freevee actually used to be IMDb TV streaming.
That's right.
And then they changed it to Freevee because they got bought by Amazon.
That's interesting because Amazon already has their own streaming service, so it's interesting to be like, we want another one.
But this one has commercials. That's why. There's something about Amazon. I don't know why they just don't do commercials for some of their things. Well,
No, listen, we don't need that. All right.
Yeah, well, they made sure to get a. They're like, this way people think we don't do, we can do the free movies. And look, here's this other one that's free, but all are commercials. It's a sneaky way of doing it because automatically when you go to search it, it's like, yeah, it's on Freevee. Go watch it there.
Mm-hmm.
They found a sneaky way to do it.
Oh, oh
Well,
goodness. Oh,
shall we get to our ratings?
yeah, man. This
Jerome.
movie's great. Watch Monster House. I would say it's a nice Halloween classic, especially if you have a family and you got kids. Watch Monster House. It's a fun time for both the kids and the adults. There's laughs to go around. It is like it's not like super scary, but it does have like some creepy elements to it from time to time. That still kind of make it feel very horror-esque. Yeah, it's just overall good. If I had to give this movie a grade, I would give it a solid just A. It just doesn't get an A+ because I don't think this is like the most perfect animated movie of all time, but it is a pretty good movie.
What is the most perfect animated movie of all time?
Into the Spider-Verse, everybody know that.
Fair enough.
And
Jonathan?
also on that list is The Incredibles. Also good.
That's fair. Alex, you might be disagreeing with that a little bit. It looks like from your expression.
Oh,
It was
and
like, okay, I'm not.
and Toy Story.
Toy Story. Okay, yes, I will agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
They're like the best. Not really. Not Toy Story.
I love Toy.
What?
I love Toy Story and
No,
Toy Story
I'm
2.
not saying I don't love Toy Story. I'm saying
No,
I don't think
I'm
it's the
just
best.
saying I think it's really well, Toy Story 2 is probably Toy Story 2 doesn't it's an improvement over Toy Story 1, but it's like the story gets a little lost with like the stuff that doesn't involve Woody. Like that stuff is just feels like they have to have those characters around. And so sometimes they're doing stuff that's relevant and sometimes they're just doing stuff because I don't know, we need an action sequence here or something.
You know what I miss about those old school animations? The bloopers they would animate.
Oh yeah.
I miss that. I wish the animation would do that again.
Which that was fun because it's just like they did not have to do this. This is like extra work. They just did because they wanted to have fun.
And they did a quality amount. It wasn't like 1 or 2 scenes. They animated like straight up like 10 minutes worth of bloopers. And that was like, that's what I loved to wait for after the end of the film.
What was that story about? Like, all like the whole film was like pretty much complete and it almost got deleted, but someone had it on their like hard drive at home. I'm gonna look this up. Alex, what's your
well, that's
rating?
Terrifying.
Jerome, were you done with all your final?
I'm done. Yeah, I'm good.
I give this movie like a B. I think it's cute. Didn't really hold my attention all throughout. I do like how they did the house. I think the house is really well done and the way they didn't suddenly have like extra parts to make the house look like a monster. They used the material that looked like it was already part of the house. So I did like that, and I liked how inside it was like an actual mouth with the uvula and the tongue, and like it even did a little upchuck when the uvula was pulled. The characters were kind of annoying to me, all of them. And I like didn't find a character and I was like, oh yeah, I really like them. I was like, no, you all are just like, I would not want to interact with any of you on any basis for any reason, really. But I did like Chowder's one-liners. They were very good about his uncle in Cincinnati with a gun. And how Neville Bob will meet a nice beach house later on. But the mostly what I did like about this film was the animation style, and it was just done so well. And whether it was or was not enhanced, it looks beautiful for today's standards as well. The colors and everything they used, even when it was just like gray and blue, you know, the nighttime and the house is being spooky, it was still so vibrant and detailed. Like it was amazing. And the way they did the characters, like Neville Bottom, is it Neville Bottom? Nevercracker's face, the like sharp angles he had.
Are you thinking about iCarly? Because that's Neville.
Is that Neville? I don't know. Never bottom. Nevercracker.
Nevercracker.
When they did the zoom in on his face, his ear, those angles and the sharpness was like that looks so real. It looks like his face would be really like sharp to touch and really like skinny, like fleshy almost. So the animation and just the coloring of this film was amazing, and today's standards or back then, it's still like such a good piece of work.
Still holds up.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was like an okay movie. And yeah, I mean, yeah, if you have kids and they don't like horror films, this would be a perfect film for them to watch. What about you, Jonathan?
Yeah, I agree. He looked very like frail. That's why I was surprised when he was able to pick up the 13-year-old child. I'm like, an old man like this. Oh, are you okay, Jerome?
I dropped the headphones. It's all good. I'm all right.
Are you sure?
Just scared the hell out of me.
Scared the hell out of all of us. You good?
It's a real Halloween episode. All the frights.
Pitch myself.
I'm gonna go with the Jerome and give this movie an A as well. I just have so much nostalgia with this. That's part of the reason why I'm giving it an A as well, admittedly. But like I mentioned earlier, the animation, I really appreciate and enjoy the animation, all the colors that they use. And for this being released so soon after the Polar Express, where I feel like nowadays people always say, oh, the Polar Express, the animation is so weird. I don't like it. And this was just released 2 years after. It seems like there was such a big improvement in the motion capture technology that it doesn't seem as maybe jarring or like video game like as the Polar Express. So that about the animation I do appreciate. Like I mentioned earlier, I do like the story. I feel I'm just gonna look at you, Alex. I'm gonna be distracted by Jerome.
I just had really hard not to look at Jerome.
Jerome is somehow getting lost.
I had to know if I could see through these goggles, but I actually have never tried.
I'm like looking at the corner of my eye, Jerome, but I'm like focusing on Jonathan, being like, I don't know what's going on. Let me just focus on the man who's actually talking, though.
I'm a superhero now, okay? Just settle for that. All right.
All right, Maverick. Go
on. But yeah, that's about it. I thought Chowder's one-liners were great. I laughed multiple times out loud. And it was great getting to see this movie again after so many years because it's been a while since I've seen it, and it's perfect for the Halloween season. With that being said, I did want to read this real quick from Toy Story. I did find the information. The work done on the film to date was nearly lost in 1998 when one of the animators, while routinely cleaning some files, accidentally entered the deletion command code on the root folder of the Toy Story
files
on Pixar's internal servers. Associate Technical Director Oren Jacob was one of the first to notice as character models disappeared from their works in progress. They shut down the file servers, but had already lost 90% of the last 2 years of work. And it was also found that the backups had not been working for about a month. The film was saved when technical director Galen Suzman, who had been remotely working to take care of her newborn child, revealed that she had a backup copy of the film on her home computer. The Pixar team was able to recover nearly all of the lost assets, save for a few recent days of work, allowing the film to proceed.
Can you imagine going up to the...
I think I would have like cried when they found out. They're like, oh, she's like, I have some. They're like, oh my God, is this a moment of like crying relief? Like 90%. Shit.
And man. I hope she got a major raise. I hope she got a major bonus.
For real. Because it's like whoever lost it originally or hit the delete button, he was gonna get assassinated. Like he wasn't gonna make it home that night because Disney was just gonna be like, did you just delete these files, huh? It's like, no, sorry, shut your ass up.
At the time, it was Pixar, not Disney.
Well, Pixar technically, because I just watched an interview at the Mopop we have of John Landis, who was like one of the first like creative people at Pixar, and it's like they were kind of like under contract under Disney. They were a separate company, but like technically still in the Disney sphere, kind of. They just didn't own them fully, and now they do.
Now they do. But like that's
Um,
crazy. How do you like I how do you I just don't understand how one could do that. Like cleaning a couple files here and there, like I've done that. But like just being like, this is fine, and just doing a complete it's just like, oh my god. Especially when you're that close to the end of a film.
That's I would be I don't know if I could show my face if I accidentally entered
literally,
the code.
if that had happened and they had no backups, I would just not came into work. I would just be like just send my resignation over email. Like, listen, I already know I'm fine. So like I just want to let y'all know it's been nice working with you. And if y'all could just not try and kill me, that would be fantastic. All right. I'm just gonna leave.
If I worked with him, his ass would have gotten tackled in the office. Be like, get her out. No. It's like 90%. Why did this man have so much on his computer?
It's like, y'all know we gotta hide the butter knives now, right? I mean, I know we can't possibly, Alex can't kill him with those, but she'll find a way. We should just hide all of the, and matter of fact, let's hide all the utensils, spoons and everything.
You know what's funny? I was thinking about, I'm like, I could do it with a spoon. Don't try.
Also, it doesn't mention which animator accidentally deleted it
for his own safety.
Right. Because there's be those Disney fans who'd be like, you almost deleted Toy Story 2 forever.
It's more like the biz in the world of, because the world of film, nothing is forgotten. You make one mistake, everybody knows, because everybody knows everybody. So it's like if that information gets out, he will forever be known in Hollywood as the guy you need to watch, because he almost cost us like a
not let him
probably $1 million movie.
It's like the guy who, have you seen the videos of the guy? It was like in the early 2000s. He caught the baseball at the it was a Mets or Giants game. Yeah, but he wasn't supposed to. If he wouldn't have caught it, the team would have been able to catch it and
I forgot about that.
And he was like hated. He was like assaulted during the game or whatever, and he could never show his face again. Like,
because they would have won what is it called?
They would have been able to like continue on to win the World Series or something. I don't know.
I think it was, they would have been World Series champs, and then he just like stuck out his hand.
Mm-hmm.
The thing was, he was ironically, he was wearing headphones, so he could hear everything. Yeah, and then he just stuck out his hand. He's like, "Oh, ball." I wonder if that guy's still even alive.
I think he is. I think he is. I was reading
under witness protection right now.
I know.
So he's just he's changed
his name. Because I know that moment has been parodied in like TV shows and movies.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, anyway,
that was Monster House. Tell us if you've seen Monster House. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What'd you think? Comment below. Tell us what you thought. Also, tell us if you're gonna if you know what Blockbuster is.
If you know what Blockbuster is.
I mean, some people weirdly don't. Isn't that weird?
That's what I'm saying. There's some people who are just like, what the hell is a blockbuster outside of a movie that makes a lot of money?
Yeah.
Well, all right.
Anyway, socials.
You can
Jonathan.
Yes, you can find me at Jonathan Keys on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you please. You can also follow us at The First Ones to Die on Instagram. Dang, you take 1 week off and everything, forget everything. On Instagram, Twitter, everywhere else. You can follow us, The First Ones to Die, on our YouTube channel. You can subscribe to us and give us a like on this video. Go ahead and comment as well. Give us your Monster House thoughts. What are you dressing up as for Halloween? Also, you can email us, thefirstones2die@gmail.com. We'd love to hear what you'd like us to talk about, or if you just want somebody to talk to. We'd love to be your person to talk to. So hit us up there. Jerome, where can we find you at?
Oh, you can find me at Not Jerome Ret on Instagram, as well as at Robo's Media and Jerome_the_show. Yes, Alex.
Really quick, be real. Smile.
Are you on Be Real? I downloaded it, but
is it because of the SNL sketch? Is why you downloaded it?
No, I just downloaded it because
not you. I'm talking about Jonathan.
No, I downloaded it because like I'd heard people talking about it and stuff. So I downloaded it, but I haven't. I always get those notifications. You have 2 minutes.
I did it. I just got it. Like this is my second one. I don't like the face forward one because it like takes it a second later. Yeah, because I'm like, oh, this is nice. It's of us, and then all of a sudden my face, I'm just like, whatever.
Well, yeah, because it's like you got to be ready to be real, 100%. You know, from on what you're doing in your face and what's going on at the moment that you're doing. So
okay, but yeah, going with your social media.
Anyway, also if you you know, talking about other things you could check out for the first ones to die, if you want some extra content that you can't get on the audio streaming platforms, check out the YouTube channel to see all the fun extra stuff we got going on over there. We got all types of stuff like mini reviews, gaming videos, vlogs, book reviews, all types of fun stuff, and video versions of all of our podcast episodes. So you can go over there and check it out. In fact, we just did our She-Hulk mini review, so that is up now, as well as the Black Adam review we did last week. So all types of fun stuff to check out, and be on the lookout for our Twitch streams as we've been playing Stray on Twitch. We will get back to it at some point. We've just been really busy right now, but be on the lookout on our social medias at the first ones to die when we post about when we are streaming, so you can check it out live. Eventually we will have some recordings of our Twitch streams on the YouTube channel, but they will be edited, they'll be cut down, so there might be content you might miss, and the only way to make sure you don't miss it is to be there live and in person. And you could even chat with me and Alex or whoever else is playing. So you know, stop on by to the first ones to die plays on at twitch.tv.com or twitch.com, whatever the site is. You know the deal. Anyway,
I think it's twitch.tv, isn't it?
I think it is. All right, Alex, go.
Are you good? Well, you can find me at Be Real as Alex and Nobody. As I just started that. But you can also find me on Instagram and as TikTok at Alex and Nobody, as well as the podcast TikTok, The First Ones to Die, where I post little clips and also show what we may be seeing next week. We are not watching currently anything next week because we are now going to take about a month break. We'll be back in December.
Well, we'll see, because we might do Wakanda Forever, because I forgot that comes out next month.
Yeah.
So we may be back for Black Panther 2, but if not, you will see us in a month's time.
Yeah. But we will be taking a small break, as you know, everybody needs one. And the holidays are coming up as well. So it's also one to be either with your loved ones or, you know, just time to take or time to reflect on those, you know, we have been with that have an influenced and impact our life. We will miss and love you all for the time being. But again, just check out our social medias. Come interact with us there. And also I will be posting a bookcast review soon. It'll just be me at the time because I need to talk and rant about the book series, or the fourth book finally came out. It's called If This Book Exists, You're in the Wrong Universe. It is part of the whole John Dies at the End series. It's very meta, very weird, and I'm super excited to see what's going to happen and share my thoughts with it. I've always loved that series. I've always ranted a lot about that series, and it is just weird, confusing, and I'm just again so excited to share my thoughts. So we will see you then.
Awesome.
All right.
Now I'm smelling some Halloween candy, so I think it's time for us to go. We got to go trick-or-treating, going to some Halloween parties.
Woohoo!
Let's take flight. Let's go.
I also have class tomorrow. I got to teach my students. I got to make my agenda. So
I'm going to go fight a wolf.
All right.
And I'm going to go DJ. So,
yes.
You know.
We'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this podcast and want to watch more, click the playlist to your right. Or if you want to see more of what we are doing, such as mini reviews, book reviews, and gaming, click the link to our channel and don't forget to subscribe when you're there. If you prefer to listen to this podcast, it's streaming on all your favorite podcast platforms, so go check it out.